Okay, first one is command control. Stand up.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sit down. Thank you. That's a little demonstration on command and control. The command and control, it's basically just a militaristic view of authority. It's going to be telling people what to do, when to do it, how to do it, basically being one person being in charge. Think the drill sergeant, that's what we're thinking of here on command and control. Now, command and control is a little bit interesting because there are some people, some thinkers in the world who are saying that command and control isn't necessary anymore. So trying to get rid of it completely. And I don't think I agree with that. There are times for it to be used. Let's click here. So command and control is effective when we're teaching new skills. In crisis situations, think about when there's things that have to happen now. That's a good time for someone to take control, issue orders, get things moving along. Okay. Another part of it is when a leader is credible. I'm sure you've all had leaders, managers who think that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and certainly I have a better idea about what to do. Then it makes that not effective. But when he is credible, then it makes it very effective. A high degree of discipline is needed, and it's also effective when there's a large group. This is like when there's when you're marching with a band, and everybody do same things at the same time, or you have a line that's operating all together, they all need to do things at the same time. That's a good time to use command and control. Okay, it's not effective or not less effective when it's overused. This is when you go to the boss, and the boss is always right. It's always telling you this is the way it is, this is what I want, and that gets a little tiresome. And then it's also leads sometimes to employees feeling the learned helplessness. In other words, I can never do anything right. I always have to go to my boss, and they just learn their way out of the job basically. And everything has to be decided by one person. It also results oftentimes in employees leaving when there's too much control. Employees tend to leave. Another thing that makes it ineffective is when individual employees need attention. It's hard if you're focused in on one person, command and controlling all the time on one person, kind of leaves everybody else out of the picture, and things do run amok a little bit. Okay, so it's not effective when you have a big group and everybody's kind of got individual jobs that they need to do. It's difficult to do that. And also when creativity is needed, command and control is probably not the best thing to do.
Who's up next? Todd. Okay, thanks, Jim. Okay, I'll be talking about goal setting. So who here set New Year's resolutions for the coming year? Anyone on this side? Maybe I'll pick on you, Dev. Did you set any personal New Year's goals?
I'm not going to help you out because I did not.
Okay. Is there anyone else that may have set a goal or two? Okay, well that's.
I didn't, but I should have.
Yeah, there we go.
Closest I came was starting to wear Fitbit. I'm not sure what
Oh,
it
you
means.
got one?
Yeah.
All right.
Tracking how many steps and stairs I have.
Cool.
Well, it's good. It's good. Not all of us set goals, and most of us that do set goals, we end up failing within the first 2 weeks of setting those goals anyway. But in business, goal setting is one of the most important styles that we can implement with our employees. We all know goals are important. How do we make them valuable with our employees? Goal setting is a strong way to motivate people and to motivate our own selves. So the first thing we need to do is motivate ourselves. Then we're able to motivate our employees. Goal setting is generally accepted and among the most valid and useful motivation tools in industrial, organizational psychology, management, and organizational behavior as well. And so this acronym here that we've got to remember goal setting is SMART, SMART goals. So who can tell me why I have a picture of the light bulb? What do you think?
Edison.
There you go. Edison, of course, invented the light bulb. But he wasn't successful on his first try, was he? He failed. Many tries and became successful. That's the same with goal setting. So goal setting, we need to have SMART goals. We need to set SMART goals. We need them to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. When we do this, our goals typically will end up being more successful. Go ahead to the next slide. So the goal setting theory that that's been come up with is the first thing is to have a clear goal, have a vision. Create something in your mind before you go out and do it physically. Have something set up in your mind. Clear goals are measurable. When a goal is clear and specific with a definite time set for completion, there is less misunderstanding about what behaviors will be rewarded. You know what's expected, and you can use the specific results as a source of motivation. So the key word here in business is motivation. We're trying to get our employees motivated. We're trying to get them to buy in and take ownership of the business. The second thing is challenging. Make it tough. Set a goal that will push you to your limits. And the example that I think of, with it being the Olympics in Russia, you've probably all seen Rocky IV. Rocky Balboa goes up and faces the Russian. When he's in training, his trainer tells him, "Make it hurt." And he's doing his training, and he's pushing himself to the limits. And we all know the outcome of the end of that movie. The third thing is to commit to your goal. On Monday, I was up at Snowbird skiing in 3 feet of fresh powder, and that's a good day to drop cliffs. And when you're on top of the cliff, you're thinking about committing. You have in your mind whether you're going to commit to doing this or not. Now, you need to know the surrounding elements. You need to know what's at the bottom. Are there going to be rocks? Are you going to kill yourself when you drop? And so you get the surrounding elements understood, and then you're able to commit to the goal that you have in mind. You go ahead and attempt it, and you either land it or you crash. But you've done the goal, and you can feel good about yourself for committing to it. The fourth thing is feedback. Feedback's really important. You get feedback from your peers, from other employees, from higher up management, and you listen to the feedback that's been given. You do a personal analysis, and you decide what you can change and implement to make the goals that you've set a little bit better and a little bit more precise. Feedback provides opportunities to clarify expectation, adjust goal difficulty, and gain recognition as well. And then taking the time to sit down and discuss goal performance is a necessary factor on long-term performance improvement as well. So have regular sit-downs with your employees with the goals that they've set out for the year, probably quarterly, to make them accountable for the things that they've set out to do. And then the final thing is task complexity. Just a reminder here that you don't want to overdo it. You don't want the goals to be so tough that there's no way to reach them. Make sure that they're measurable and that they're understood as well. The next
Okay, so we're gonna maybe do a little practice with the democratic style.
Okay.
So this is your, well, we'll just basically use, is it
The
the
front
front
row.
row? Okay, front row here. So this is your team.
All right.
And, can't see, maybe this one right there. So, punchline. Then we are agreed 9-1 that we will say our previous vote was unanimous. So, see in the scenario here, you've got an important deadline coming up, and there's been mixed opinions on what should be done, and you've got a meeting now with these folks, and you need to implement the democratic style to come to basically make a decision and try and get people on board. And the suggestion Randy came up with that I thought was perfect was company party. So you decide where to have it, what you're going to do, what you're going to eat. So,
Which is always a multitude.
All right, guys, so my thing here is going to be talking about hands-on style as well as coaching. I don't know how many of you are very hands-on type people. I want you to think back. I'm not going to have anybody raise their hands, but how many of you have tried to fix a part on your car or something of that nature, and you go in trying to look at it, just trying to fiddle with it until you can figure it out? I have. But I'll tell you what, when I watch the YouTube video, 10 minutes before, it seems like everything runs a lot smoother because I understand it. I saw how a professional or somebody else may have done it and actually visualized what they've done. So it's more of a hands-on model, and as well as we know you guys deal with gas lines. You know, maybe in training you have a monthly meeting where you can do a hands-on demonstration with the meters, or a hands-on demonstration as you go out in the field with people. Not necessarily saying that everybody's doing it wrong, but maybe there's shortcuts that, you know, by watching somebody do something, they can actually visualize it and possibly eliminate time, but have better training, you know, essentially on that end. So, in the hands-on style, the managers intervene to get the job done. And that's not necessarily all the case. It may be coworker to coworker, but a lot of times with the hands-on, you know, you have the manager in there that is visually seeing what's going on, making sure things are running properly. Obviously, we know that everybody's done it that way, but it's nice to have that camaraderie and seeing that. And we know that the hands-on style is kind of a twin sister of command and control. Obviously, we know that, you know, you can say this is how we're going to do it and show the best way that we can possibly do it. And then open it up for feedback. Obviously, we're not only people in this world that know everything. So it's always good to see how people bill and how they understand, and maybe they have a suggestion that could reduce costs by millions of dollars in the company by eliminating 5 steps or, you know, something of that nature. So be willing to listen and follow up with people. And just realize too that when it's overused, it disempowers employees and can destroy morale. So use it wisely. Don't necessarily come in and say, you know, I'm the boss. This is how we're going to do it. You know, this is the hands-on model of how we're going to go. Be willing to learn. You know, I mean, that's what I think this life's about essentially, is trying to learn and continue to grow. So next slide.
The best style of management depends on the situation, you know, and the employee. And we went over that. Everybody's touched on that. It's I love that, you know, the one-trick pony thing. That's true. Being an effective manager means mastering more than one management style. Employees require different styles of management. Management is nothing more than motivating other people. Lee Iacocca. You know, takeaways. We want you. I'm going to give you a handout that I want you to fill out. And I didn't get it perforated or nothing. Yeah, did you? Why don't you give everybody 2 of those that way? I want you to take one, and I want you to fill the bottom half out of the other one, and I want you to give it to me because we're going to follow up on this. Jeff and I had a long discussion. If you don't follow up on things, then basically this was just a kind of a retrieve or reprieve or whatever you want to call it. But I want to go over these really quick. Choose a supervisor style you want to learn more about or to improve the quality in yourself. Review the information about that particular style, then use it in an appropriate time in the course of your work. And so I'm going to give you about 2 months to have that experience, okay? Then I'm going to call you, and I'm going to find out, I'm going to follow up. Choose an employee in your organization and let them read the short definitions of leadership styles and ask them which styles they think you utilize and how you are doing. This is a little bit of a 360, a mini 360 on you. The last one is choose a motivational movie, watch it, and then write a paragraph on why the leaders of this movie was successful. In our class, these were movies that we've had to read, had to watch. I don't think I've even ever heard of Stand and Deliver. Gandhi was the last movie I ever wanted to watch in my life. Moneyball, my wife is a huge Brad Pitt fan, so I seen that about the day it was released. And Dead Poets Society, I watched that a long time ago. Pick one, or if you have one, in fact, Jeff and I talked about the train one that time.
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. That would fit this too.
Apollo 13.
Apollo 13. Any of those movies are fine. Pick one, watch it, and then I need a paragraph on why that leader was successful. Now I know you need magnifying to read these, but I want you to take one of these, and I want you just to keep them either on your desk or in your wallet, just to remind you there are different leadership styles, and to please remember to use them. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your participation. We wanted